what's up, y'all? Welcome back to episode 4. Welcome back to not another fucking podcast. Shit. So I am Zuri.
I'm Cora.
I'm Jessica. Stud name Callie.
What's your
I'm
name?
Devin, aka D-Rex.
Yes, so we have 2 guests on our show tonight. So we thought we would talk about something that we all kind of have in common, and basically growing up black around a lot of white people. Thought that would be an interesting topic.
white
Yeah.
people.
Just
Yeah.
nailed it right
Yep.
there. Here we go. This is
Dirty
the ground
girl. Oh Lord.
Let's get it.
All right. Well,
I still rep mine. I still rep my color. But you can tell. You can tell.
do you want to start off?
Well, I guess so. I guess I'll start it off. So basically my experience, it was kind of brief, but it was very out there. So I want to say I was like about 11 when I moved up here from Chicago to live with my mom and my sister and brother. And it was definitely a big culture shock coming from like the south side of Chicago to like coming
shit, okay.
up to like the small town with like
Yeah.
2 black people in the whole town.
No,
Like,
it was only 4 black families, and we were 2 because it was us, and then it was our aunt with her kids.
yeah, I mean, it was more than 4, but it was just like a
I only
very
remember
small
4.
amount. Oh, yeah.
Do you guys remember what town it was that you guys moved? Or to?
It's here.
Oh, it was here.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a lot
Yep.
more diverse now. I think it's because a lot of people came from like Chicago and Minnesota and stuff like that. But back, I mean, like I left here in 2004.
Yeah, this was
And-
the 90s. So.
Yeah, like
Okay.
late 90s.
Okay.
And it
Okay.
was not as diverse as it is now.
Yes, it was. I was literally one of maybe it was like one other black girl in my high school. Like, yeah, it was like 5 black kids in the whole school. So it was like
Mhm.
2 black girls after one graduated.
I know that was
It
hard.
was like me and like one other black girl, and then like a few black boys. So yeah, it was definitely a big culture shock for me. Like I remember coming in 6th grade, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like. And I remember like getting into it a lot with a lot of white girls and stuff. I remember getting in a fight.
What?
Ooh.
I never even knew
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yes,
so crazy.
like it.
Yep.
Yeah, I.
Yep.
It took a minute for me to adjust.
Because they were being
Mhm.
racist, or
Like just like snooty and just I was like just ghetto black girl. Like I wasn't for no shit. Like
Yeah.
and then they,
Yeah.
you know they had their
Yeah.
little smart remarks and stuff. Like I remember in gym class, like we were playing basketball and stuff, and this one girl, she was throwing a ball at me, but it hit me in the head. So I was like, what? And I just went up to her and started punching her in the head and stuff, and like, oh yeah, I got in
Dang.
trouble and
she was
stuff.
not playing.
Like, yeah,
Damn. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I was kind of rough around the edges back
Right.
then too. So it's like I don't know. And then we always kind of had like um, that whole like stigma of like white people can't fight, you know.
Mhm.
So it's like they
Yep.
say something crazy, you just whoop their ass. Like,
Yep. Yeah.
Oh wow.
yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
how you was kind of raised. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I started kind of loosening up and like getting more adjusted later.
You think that was like, was it that your dad's side that said that? Because mom wasn't really like that. My dad was like that though.
I don't know whose side was like that, but yeah. My friend Amber, our first encounter was like a physical altercation.
What?
Like we're still friends to
Yes,
this day.
that's what- yeah.
Yes, we was
That's
in
so
music
funny.
class and stuff. I don't even remember how it started, but we was in music class and like I just like knocked her upside her nose and stuff like
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
And we
Damn.
became like really good friends after that.
you just gotta fight it
I
out.
was gonna say
You gotta
sometimes
fight it out.
you gotta
You
duke
do
it
it.
out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Yep.
That's crazy. Dang, I mean, I guess we kind of experienced the same things, but not really. Like, I was here very young, and I really didn't have those problems. I guess it was more of like an insecurity thing with myself. Like, I was just like, I was always like insecure. Like, why doesn't my hair look like theirs? Like,
Oh,
that was really,
yeah,
and no one really
yeah.
talked to me about that. But that was it. But then I really noticed the culture change and the shock when my dad started coming back in my life around 7, 8, or 8 years old, and he would take me and CJ to go like to Minnesota, or just like kind of just take us around this and that. And we got to this mall or something in Minnesota. This big ass bus pulls out and it's full of black people, and I was like, "Wow, look at all the brown people!" And my
This
dad
is
was like,
really
"What the
honest.
fuck?" Like,
Yeah.
he was so mad
Yeah.
at that.
Damn.
And ever since that, he was super about getting me into black culture. And this, I never really knew that. Like, I don't know, that was crazy.
You didn't see color at that age.
No,
Yeah.
no,
It's
No.
taught.
then.
It's always taught.
But I feel like our experience would probably be different from y'all's, because I know like you're my best friend since we were 17, and I met Devin 4 years ago. We've been very close since then. But I know that you're adopted by a white family.
Yeah.
And then you were
I was
fostered.
fostered. Yeah, I was fostered. Yeah.
So do you guys want to like explain those experiences, or?
Wanna go first?
Well, I don't even know where to start, honestly, because a lot's happened. I was adopted at 12. I turned 13. And then by this beautiful white family. My dad, his name's Mark. And my mom, her name's Teresa. I ain't gonna say no. But yeah, they adopted me. I was really bad. I was like a really bad kid. And they put up with me. So I ran away. I also ran away. Because I don't know what I thought. I was just bad. I think I wanted to go back to my brother.
Your oldest brother?
Yeah, Thomas. I wanted to go back with him. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to just run away. And then, they'll send me back to foster care.
Oh,
I could go be with him.
Yeah.
So that didn't work out, because when I did that, my dad chased me down the road. Like, I was like, man, I play football. I play all this, man. He gonna catch me. He caught me.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's
He
also a
caught
firefighter,
me.
so I'm not surprised he didn't catch
I was
you.
like, oh, he remembers it to this day. I know he does. That is crazy. I was like, dang, that's embarrassing. But I was really sprinting. I was going up the road, but he caught me. And I know at that time, I think he explained it to me before at one point. He said that they thought about giving me back to foster care.
Oh wow.
What?
Yeah.
I never even knew that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I was like, dang.
no.
Yeah, I needed a lot of counseling and stuff, because I really missed my brother. Like, that was my other half.
Well, I know that,
Right,
like,
So
from what I remember, I know that he didn't want to get adopted, like, because he had the chance to get adopted
Yeah.
by the same family.
yeah, and he didn't want to be adopted by white people.
Damn. You think
So-
it was
Wow.
because he didn't want to, like, lose his
He didn't
culture?
want people telling him what to do. Like, my brother, he wears his
Yeah.
pants down here.
Mhm.
He likes to do him. Like, he's
Yeah.
just doing him. And he knows that he knew that white people wouldn't allow that. They wouldn't condone it. They wouldn't, what is it called?
Just
Like
the-
approve it.
Approve
Yeah,
of it,
right.
yeah. So he
Yeah.
already knew that straight off rip.
So he didn't want. So it wasn't about somebody telling him what he can and can't do. It was because he didn't want to be adopted specifically by white people.
Yes.
Damn, because of the cult. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
So I did it myself, because I was in foster care. I was getting beat. Like, I was getting abused by my foster mom, which is
Mhm.
Aunt Tina. She's passed away, R.I.P. bitch. But
Mm.
she
Mhm.
took care of me or whatever. And, I had to get adopted. Like, I was getting beat up. I don't want to get beat up. Like,
Yeah.
my face was getting beat up. I got this scar right here on my
Mhm.
face.
Do
Like,
you like
I was getting abused.
regret being adopted? Not them, not like Teresa and Mark as them, but like as far as them being white and like the whole black culture and stuff. Do you ever like regret being adopted by them?
Did they
I-
make you feel like any different
Yeah.
because you were black?
No, I don't regret being adopted by them, honestly, because they raised me to be, pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
They
no,
did
they're. I like them.
They did a good job. They kept me away from things that I probably would have gotten trouble. Like, if I were to hang out with my black brothers, I probably would have done something.
Got caught up in some
probably
bullshit. Yeah,
something bad
Mhm.
would have probably happened or something.
Yeah.
So they pretty much kept me on a tight string, but that tight string, it got unbearable for me. I felt unwanted at some points. Like, I don't know, I just felt like they always treated my adopted brother, which is Ryan. I always felt like they treated him better for
Mhm.
some reason, because I wasn't allowed to do certain things. But Ryan was, and he's
Mhm.
not that much older than me, So I felt kind of like I don't know, cage, like a cage.
Do you
I
think
didn't-
it was like because you're like female, he's male,
I think
or
I don't know what it was.
was he
my
their, like,
mom
their
was
bio
also
son?
she was kind of sexist in a way. Like
oh, wow.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
she would let him boys will be
Oh,
she was
boys
that
Boys will be boys.
Yeah,
type,
she was on that type of the
And
side.
Ryan, I didn't mean to interrupt, but like
Yeah.
just giving her the backdrop. Ryan is her mother Teresa's biological son,
Okay.
and her dad, that's his stepson.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Teresa,
So-
she was like she ran the house.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. And Ryan and my dad weren't really even that close. They just
Mhm.
recently started getting close as he got older, graduated high school and stuff.
Had his own kids and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
So
because those are like Mark's like those are his grandkids,
yeah.
Ryan's kids. Yeah.
But my parents, they couldn't have a kid with them, like with each other, so they, went to search for a child, and they wanted a baby, but they found me. And you remember GameStop? You remember that place?
Mhm.
So
Oh,
that's where all the foster kids met. They met at GameStop, and it was kind of weird. It was like a shelter. Like you pick your little dog, the dog you want. That's what it was like. You walk in with your name tag and everything, and they pick the kid they want. They found me. I don't know why, but
Oh.
but I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, my dad is literally the only one that wanted to adopt me. My mom didn't. She just went with what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember them explaining that to me. But I loved my mom to death. I was really close with her. I think she was kind of trying to push me away. I don't know why, but that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
It felt like she was pushing me away, and I would, sing to her. I sung "God Bless the Broken Road" to her, and I was a kid.
Aww.
Like I loved her. I followed her everywhere, but she didn't really. I don't know why she wouldn't get close to me.
Well, like how
I don't know why.
because I know that you are in touch with your biological mom. So how was that relationship and like your biological mom and your mom? Like how
Well,
was
my
she, like,
my
she okay with that?
biological. No, she obviously they feel some type of way because they don't want, me to like call my biological mom. It's like a jealousy kind of thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, I remember I became friends with my real mom on Facebook, and my mom got really mad. Like she got
Oh,
mad.
wow.
I'm pretty sure they got into it on Facebook, and I had to delete
Oh,
my
geez.
biological mom.
Damn.
You had to delete your bio, mom?
Yeah, because I
Damn.
didn't want any drama.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I had to, and I loved my mom to death, but she didn't love me. But she still don't. I don't know if it's because I'm black, if it's because I'm gay. I don't know. I've always wondered though. I still
Did you
wonder.
grow up around like a lot of white kids though? Like, I know your parents were white, but like the
Yeah.
schools and stuff, were they
Bloomingdale
predominantly
was a white school.
What? Girls.
Bloomingdale's white.
It was pretty.
Bloomingdale's
It
white.
was like predominantly white,
It was
but
white.
it was pretty. We had kids from like
Uh,
Progress Village, Claremont and all that stuff. Claremont. Like we had.
I didn't really have any black friends. All my friends was white.
Did you feel like out
I
of
had
place?
a little bit of black friends, but yeah,
Among
I
your
felt kind of
peers?
out of place. I felt like I wasn't being like black.
Black enough?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Blackish.
Like when I hang out with my
Blackish.
brothers, I feel like I have to be
a certain way.
Yeah.
a certain way, and then when I
Yeah.
hang out with my white people,
Yeah.
I gotta
felt like
feel
that
like I
too.
gotta be like
Mhm.
Yeah.
okay on a straight narrow. Gotta be
Mm.
super clean.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong. You know.
I definitely get that because I would go back to Chicago for the summer when I was up here, and I always felt like when I would go back because they would always say, "Oh, you talk white now," and I didn't
Yeah.
understand like what is talking white? Like what does
Like
that
me.
mean?
Yeah.
Just
because
like
I mean
me.
I didn't talk like that when I first got up here, but after being around white people so long, you gotta pick it up. So
Yeah.
like I would go back to Chicago, and then when I moved back to Chicago. Like I had on like I was wearing like Abercrombie and Aeropostale
Oh, no.
while everybody else was like in baby fat and like
Fubu, yeah.
Echo Red and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And like I'm like here I come with my Aeropostale on. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was. I definitely felt out of place. Like when I came up here, I wasn't white enough, obviously. And then when I went
Yeah.
back home, I wasn't black enough. So yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like you got a little bit more of the cultural side than I did because because we have different dads, like you had like that kind of that out gate, like to go and kind of like, okay, I'm gonna go back to Chicago and go to my roots and my identity, my culture. Where like I just had mom, and then when dad came in, our dad came in about 7, 8 years old, and then after that experience with the kids getting off the bus, that was when he was like, okay. But then he would fly us down to Florida and be with him and stuff like that. But we'd be around like adults, so we didn't really know how to be around like black kids and stuff because
Yeah.
our cousins from our dad's side were a lot older than we are.
Oh yeah.
And so finally, I don't know who put the bug in his ear, but like, oh, let's put him in like summer camp and stuff. So that was honestly Camp Ujima. Shout out to Camp Ujima in Florida. They were like a real, that kind of put like, it wasn't even just about predominantly putting black culture, because Ujima means collective work and responsibility. But like, it wasn't just about like shoving the black culture in my face or whatever, but it was also like, okay, you can be with, white, Asian, Spanish, whatever, but you can also still have self-love for yourself, no
Yeah.
matter what, race, religion, or whatever you are. So that was a good experience, but I'm still kind of jealous that you got to go to Chicago.
I feel like being treated differently and you feeling that made us stronger in a way. I feel like it just built us to be different and see the world differently.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Oh yeah, I definitely feel more cultured, like
Yeah.
having that experience coming up here as a kid. Because if I hadn't, I probably wouldn't have like known as much. Like my taste in music wouldn't be as wide,
Mhm.
So I mean,
Same.
yeah.
We better rock fest. We
Yeah.
better rock
Yep.
fest.
Rock
yeah.
fest,
So
yep.
I definitely
Yep.
appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate the culture
What?
side.
Black people that love rock music, we gotta be friends.
Bro, still to this day, I tell my friends, I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna lie. You might even hate me for saying this, but like, like I fuck with rock more than I do, hip hop now.
Same.
You know what I mean? Like,
Rock
I love
is my favorite type of music. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is.
Linkin Park.
Oh man,
She got me into that. Yeah,
that's
I
like one of my
Park to
favorite
me.
albums.
Yeah,
yeah.
when Chester died, she was the first one I called because I
Oh wow.
started getting into Linkin Park because of her. I found her CD and I was like, ooh, what's this? So yeah, no, I mean, I feel the same way. I love that I'm very open-minded with the culture because with my kids being biracial, I want them to love their Irish side, but I want them to also love, being black and just all that and stuff like that. So we're very cultured.
We're called a mixed breed.
Yeah, but I would definitely want to get into your story, Devin.
Yes, Devin.
Yeah.
About
So, I was fostered pretty much my whole life, in and out of foster homes. But consistent wise, like I was consistently fostered at 16. Yeah. And before that, I was definitely a troublemaking kid, coming from, East St. Paul. I lived in North Minneapolis. And I would say my first, obstacle of, change was definitely the high school I went to. Like, being that in St. Paul, I was in a school with like every ethnicity you could think of. And then I go from that school to a school where it's mostly white people, and like how you said you're like the only, like, maybe there's like 4 other, yeah, there's only like 6 other black kids in my school, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it was a lot because one thing I had to deal with every day, if not every day, every other day, was having racist jokes thrown at me,
Oh yeah.
being the punchline of every joke, being, just judged, being stared at, and it was hard. The sports that I was in, my mom told me, even though we don't get along, my biological mom, she told me that if you want to make it, you're gonna have to deal with a lot of adversity. You're gonna have to hear a lot of people say things to you that you don't want to hear, and you're just gonna have to ignore it, and it will make you stronger. That's probably one of the only things that I actually remember my mom actually telling me, that like probably one of the first times I actually remember her being a parent to me. But like, growing up around, when I started, growing up around a lot of white people, it was just I had to learn how to be proper, and
Mm-hmm.
I had to eat pizza with a motherfucking fork and a fucking knife and
Okay,
shit.
nah, that's
Like,
not my white people.
Yeah,
about
like-
that's
About
white.
that one.
I started going to church more, and like
Yeah.
it just, I feel like I slowly got away from like who I used to be.
Mhm.
And then after high school and then to college and then from like where I am now, I've always had people say that you're like the whitest black guy that I know.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like,
You get called an Oreo.
you don't even know my background. You don't even know what I went
I
through.
say
Like,
that all the time. That was
Oreo, yeah.
and oh yeah, the Oreo, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But like, for me, is that like I just had to ignore it, and it's hard. And now that I'm an adult, like I don't know if I could ignore it as good as I could. You know what I mean? And my kids, when they grow older, I don't want them to have to go through what I went through, because
Mhm.
my kids are mixed. I don't want them to go through that. I don't want them to feel like they need to change who they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Especially with them, I didn't mean to cut you off. Especially with them being half, like you don't want them to feel like, you know, like "Ugh, why aren't I fully white? You know, like or
Yeah.
you know, you gotta love like both sides and stuff like that. But the world will see you as
Black.
And,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and so yeah.
Did you get that black boy talk, like when it comes to authority and stuff? Because I know we had to kind of talk to my son. Like he's black, but most of his friends have been predominantly white from where we lived and stuff before here and now here. So it's like, we got to let him know, like, just okay. If you get pulled over by the police, your white friends are mouthing off. You can't do that. Like, did you ever get that kind of talk?
I did not get that talk, and I wish I did. And when I moved to Mankato, I hung out with predominantly white people.
Yeah.
And I felt like after so many years, I did feel like I sold out to who I used to be. I sold out to my roots. I sold out to the black community. And like,
Why do you feel that way? Why do you feel that way?
just by the jokes and the ridicule I would get from people.
Mm-hmm.
You're not black enough. You don't dress black. You don't talk black. And then a few times, my family would be like, you're too good to like hang out. You be around us. And it's just like, no, like I've never forgot who I am. I will always remember who I am. And nobody can take that away from me. But, it's just one of those things that you either argue or you just walk away.
Yeah.
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 And walking away is just a lot less stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just feel like that talk is so important, especially with everything going on with police and stuff now. Like you kind of got to instill that in kids. And I don't know, I guess with our generation, I don't want to say it wasn't the same. Like, I mean, racism has been around for like ever. But I don't know. It seems like it's just kind of more out there now than it was when we were probably growing up. Like it
Yeah.
was there, but I feel like it was kind of more under the rug than
Yeah,
it
I
is
feel
now.
like people weren't really as bold with like anything because now we have social media and there's a lot more
Oh, yeah.
platforms.
Yeah.
For people to be more
Racism is
bold.
very public now.
Yeah, but I did get the talk
I don't
from my
think
dad.
Oh yeah.
I
It
didn't
was-
get the talk. I didn't get the talk.
It was short, but he was like my best friends growing up, and even still to this day. Megan, she's half white, half Spanish, but she has blonde hair and blue eyes. And then my best friend Gaida as well. It's me, Megan, and Gaida. She has Gaida has blue eyes and like blondish, brownish hair.
Yeah.
And so they, if you kind of just do a double take at them, you're gonna think that they're just two white girls. And so with me being black and fully black and stuff like that, my dad literally told me, he was like, you can be with your Asian friends, you can be this. And he even name dropped Megan and Gaida. He was like, well, if you're in a car and you get in trouble with Megan and Gaida and it's you, Megan and Gaida, guess who's going to get the brunt of it? Megan and Gaida are going to get slapped on the wrist and you're going to get, da-da-da and stuff like that. But I mean, so I did get the talk, and that honestly instilled a lot in me. But they're very like I've talked to them about it, and they're super aware of, you know, that, like, yeah, like we would get treated differently than you and stuff like that, but I'm still gonna rock with you, and I'm still gonna make sure that nothing crazy or bad or stuff happens and stuff like that. I mean, Gaida said that she would something, she would get kind of the brunt of it if they did find out she was, Arabic in Lebanon, born in Lebanon, and stuff like that. But it's easy for her to mask it and pass as white.
Yeah.
Yeah, white passing.
Yeah,
That's
then
a
it would
term.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
white
yeah,
passing.
white passing. Then it would be if I tried to do something like that. Like,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
But it is nice that my friends, my non-black friends, are aware of stuff like that, and they don't just sweep it under the rug. They're super pro, like, hey, right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't give a fuck who, what color, creed, whatever it is. Like, this is right, this is wrong.
So, one of the first things that I dealt with when I moved to Mankato was me and my brother, and this is like our third day in Mankato. We were walking to the Cub Foods, and these guys in like this jacked up truck called us the N word, just yelled it. I was at my senior year. I was at a track meet, and I came back, and you know how, like, I don't know if any of you guys ran track, you guys have like your little tent area where you guys keep all your stuff. I came back to our little tent, and they literally made a noose.
Oh, wow.
I can't make, yeah,
Oh, wow.
there was a noose, and they were laughing about it.
Oh,
And
hell no.
I told my foster mom, and of course she talked to the school. She was like, "What the like?" But that was, what I had to like
Your foster mom is
deal
white,
with.
that I messed up.
Yep,
Okay.
my
Yeah.
foster mom. Yeah, she's
Did
white.
she treat you differently? Do you feel like did she?
She was the first woman that actually treated me like I was her son.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
good.
The first time, because I've been in foster homes where I was treated horribly compared. They treated me and my older brother. My older brother was gay, and they hated him because he was gay. But they treated us very unequal because we weren't a part of their actual like family.
Right,
Like
yeah.
their actual family was treated nice. And
That kinda
you guys
sucks,
know
though.
that
That's what I'm
Harry,
talking
yeah,
about.
you guys know that Harry Potter movie, how he had to stay in the room. Me and my older brother had to stay in the room.
Like the door, the room he had
Sometimes,
downstairs.
yes, we had to stay in a room while some of my, my foster family, I'm not gonna say her name, but while they would have family get together, sometimes me and Donovan would have to stay in the room.
Oh my
I
gosh.
can't imagine.
I could never do that to a kid.
Yeah,
That's so weird. And I used to be a daycare. Like, I used to work at a daycare. I
Those
called
are
myself a
people
daycare
that
mom.
that are
Those
in
were
it for
all
the
my
money.
babies.
Yeah.
Those were all my babies.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and I
Yeah.
got paid. It was a daycare. I got paid, but those are my children. I still have pictures of them on my fridge.
yeah.
That's crazy. I can never do that to a child. Make them feel unwanted, and you mold and shape them
Mhm.
for the rest of their life. Like, I can only imagine, like, God forbid, I would never do something like this. But, like, I mean, like, if I, hurt or, like, you shape children to the future. So
Yes.
if, God forbid, if I use my power against it to those kids, that could fuck them up for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And they would never be able to trust, a black woman or a black person because, oh, well, I used to have this teacher, or just any adult authority figure because, oh, well, I had this daycare teacher, Miss Cora, she was so mean. Like, I was always super so nice. My friends were even joking this, like, bro, those little kids, they gonna grow up and marry black women because of how
Yep.
super sweet. Like,
Yep.
they love Miss Cora. They're like, oh, I gotta get up. I have parents sending me videos like, Miss Cora, like, oh, you gotta go to sleep. You're gonna see Miss Cora tomorrow. Okay, like, and they were fighting with them for like 15 minutes to go to sleep. Well, you're gonna go see Miss Cora tomorrow. Like, I shape who they're gonna be, even though I don't see them every day anymore because I don't work there. Even though I don't talk to them every day, I follow them growing up on Facebook. But you shape that, so I would never want them to ever see me as the enemy. That's so crazy that she did that to you. I'm so sorry.
And I actually went to college for 1 year of my college years. I was going to go to school. I was going for social work. I changed my major to like social work, but I dropped out of the program. It's because I just remembered how the system failed me and my older brother. It literally brought back trauma and PTSD, the homes that they like put us in. But I will say, since I was around, since I was put in the position of like being around a bunch of white people, I didn't have that same stress and anxiety that I had growing up when I like living in the hood. Like I didn't have that.
Yeah,
I didn't have that weight over my shoulders. I didn't feel like I didn't have that like I got to keep looking around
like
and shit.
somebody
Yeah,
go like rob
Yeah.
you or like gangs.
it was
and
definitely
stuff,
more
and-
of a it was definitely
Yeah.
more of a pleasant experience. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, like it was
Yeah.
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how it felt when I moved. When I did move to Tampa and stuff like that, like I was able to kind of finally get that, that black aesthetic, that hood
Mhm.
or whatever. And then, but then going from there and like going to visit my family in Chicago and stuff, I'm just like, damn, I don't know. It's just it's a heavy, it's a heavy burden to hold, and
Mhm.
I don't know. It's too much. Like it's like the whole like what both of you are saying. Like I have to prove myself, to white people, and I have to prove myself to black people. It's very hard. I feel like I'm kind of walking a tightrope.
You know
in the middle.
the feeling of my parents don't see that stuff. They don't notice what I notice. Like they go to their little their spots that they like to go to, like the grocery store or the church, the same church, or to go see some of their friends. But when they see me, they take me with them to these places. But when these people see me, I feel them staring my bones
Right.
down.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like
I
people
can
don't
feel you.
Yeah.
I know you
Yep.
thinking something.
People
I
don't
know that
understand.
feeling,
Like
yep.
I don't feel comfortable just going into like rural areas, like just anywhere. Like
Nope.
that's something like white people are never gonna understand because they can just go into like these little small towns and country towns or
Yeah.
whatnot. Like no, there's still sundown towns that
These
exist.
people want to kill
Like
me.
yeah, like I
It
can't
makes
just
me
walk
sad
up in
because
any place.
That is literally my dream: is to live in a small town that is like population
Next
is
to a lake.
300, and like you
Yeah.
have to go 10 miles to go to the Walmart. Like
Mhm.
that is my dream. But I know I can never like
Hey.
Well, I'm just saying I know I can never just like
Never say never.
uproot and do that. No, I'm just saying I can't uproot and do that because there is still racism that exists, and there are still fine prints and fine lines. I mean, remember that kid that got rolled up in the mat?
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
even
Oh
like
yeah,
whatever.
that basketball. That,
And
I know
and then
what
went to
you're
look for his organs, and there was just newspaper. What the fuck? Like and the fact that that is unsolved really is it bothers me.
You know-
So I'm just like I tread lightly.
So I definitely, when I was 22 years old, I told my foster mom that I no longer want to go to the family holidays anymore, and because every time like my foster dads had the family, and it could just be me overthinking it, but I just felt like I was never a part of that family, and they judged the fuck out of me every time I was there. Like I just felt like I was just that token black kid that was just in the fucking family, and they just associated with me just because I was there, and it was not a good feeling. And I told her that I no longer want to go to family get-togethers, and she respected my decision on that. She's like, "That's okay."
Yeah.
Why do people do that? Why do people just stop hating and just be people? Like I hate
Because
people
it's
give you a
conditioned.
weird
Like
vibe.
I
It's
mean,
crazy.
yes, it's conditioned. Like it's racism is taught.
It's
That's not,
crazy. And Ryan
kids don't see color when they're like little and stuff. All of that stuff
Yeah.
is taught.
Yeah.
My brother didn't. I'm the first black sister he's had, but like he treated it like it was like he was nasty with it. He called me a porch monkey. He
I
hyped me
heard
up
that.
to all his fucking friends, but like you don't like me? That don't make no sense. Like you want to fight about it?
Because everybody want to be a nigga until it's time to be a nigga.
Like he's so
Bro, that is the best sayings I've ever, like, my top 5 sayings.
that's
No,
kinda
for real, look.
That's kind of how I feel with like my ex-husband. Is I
he
feel
wanted
like
to be. He's a
I'm
licker.
like yeah. I feel like
Bro, black
that's
people,
like-
we are the most imitated
He put
race
people away from
in
me.
the world,
We
Yeah.
are.
but nobody wants to be
Yeah,
black.
they feel
Yeah.
intimidated
Yeah.
by me.
Yeah.
I feel
Okay.
like my ex-husband is kind of like that too. Like I'm like his token. Like he can now say and do whatever he wants and moves freely. And if anybody like tries to like, what'd you say, man? Whoa, my baby mom's black. My kids are black. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of how I feel. That like he
Yeah.
Oh my
can kind
God.
of do and move like that. And it's just like for example,
I hate
like
that.
my boyfriend now, my partner now, he naturally has an accent, but it's not. It's like literally, I've seen him happy, sad, scared, whatever. He just has this natural accent. And when he got on the phone, my ex-husband, he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna come down there and this like that." He's like, "Oh, what's your name, man? What's your name?" He's like, yeah, man, my name is Justin. How you doing?"
Yeah.
And then Sean was like, "Yeah, man, my name's Sean, man. How you doing?" Whoa, where did black thing come from? So it's just like I feel like I totally,
Man.
yeah, we're very imitated and stuff like that.
So
Man,
wait, have
Sunday
y'all
got
ever
me
felt like
I'll
y'all
bust somebody's
got
face
like
open.
cool points for being black amongst peers and stuff? Like I know we've all had like the negative experience, but have you ever felt like, oh, you just want to hang out with me because I'm black or whatnot? Like,
I would say, I just want to say this because, like, this girl, this woman, her name was Renee, and I dated her son when I was younger. And she always, like, was super sweet. She was obsessed with my hair because I had, like, the barrettes and stuff like that. So then a couple years ago during COVID, we had the mask on. So I'm at Walmart, and she's like, Cora? And she pulls her mask down. I was like, Renee? And she pulls her mask down, and she was like, oh my gosh. She comes over. She's like, oh, this is my boyfriend. And she's like, hey, this is Cora. She was supposed to be my daughter-in-law. Like, she just was so smitten and so obsessed. And it wasn't like fetishized. Like, she generally loved me as a child. And we've followed, when Facebook became a thing, we followed each other on Facebook. We found each other. And she's just super sweet. And it was just very natural and organic. She was a white woman, very natural and organic. And I will never forget when she introduced me to her boyfriend as this was supposed to be my daughter-in-law, like kind of like the one that got away.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, she just really just like she would just gas me up, but she was always obsessed with my hair and shit like that. And I was just like, I don't know. That was the one I could think off the top of my head, one of my positive experiences.
So I never felt like I had got cool points by just by people only hanging out with me because I'm black, but I definitely can say that a lot of my white friends did not hang out with a lot of black people, and I like me being their friends. I definitely changed their mindset and their perspective of how black people are. We are not all of us are thugs. Not all of us are criminals. Not all of us. There are some of us out. There's a lot of us out there that
I don't play
are
talking to Mike like that.
like a lot of us are very educated and we're very aware. We think just like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not that different, and I'm glad that I got to change their perspective of just how black people are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not this typical like what you see on TV. Not all of us are like that.
Well, like, one of the things I really wanted to share on here was it was during the height of George Floyd, and this one of my daycare moms, her name was Anna, and she came up to me. I just got to hold back tears, bro. It was just such a beautiful experience. I was in the front of the office. I was doing something. I was like, oh, hey, Anna. We always say hey to each other. I watch our kids like that. She stops me. It was just me and her. And she was like, I just want to tell you that, I'm sorry. And I was like, for what? And she's like, I've never had, and she broke it down. Like, she was like, a white woman. She's like, I never had to have the experience of race, the talk in my house because I'm white. Like, I never had to have the race talk and stuff. She's like, the one thing I instilled was my dad and my grandpa were both racist. They both passed on, but they were both hardcore racist. When I got with my husband and we decided, like, hey, we want to marry each other, have kids, that was one thing that before I married him, I was like, bro, we're not doing that shit. I don't even find it cute, not even a joke. Like, I don't want to raise my kids like that. They have 5 beautiful white children. And she was just like, that's one thing I want to instill in my children. She's like, I never really thought about the walk that you have to do in life, that we're both women, but you're a black woman and I'm a white woman, and we've had 2 different walks in life. We see a different point of view.
She saw her privilege.
Yeah, she did. Essentially, she did. She said it. She did say that though.
Yeah,
she did. She was just like, I see what I can do and you can't.
Yeah,
and she was just like, I just want you to know that I love you, I respect you, and I will always ride and rock for you. We work at the hospital. She's my kid's doctor, and I trust her fully 100%. And like, she was just like, yeah. But I think there's a lot of people out there, a lot of white people or non-black people who they do see their privilege and this and that. It is refreshing. I mean, you don't have to shout it to the rooftops, so don't overdo it. But just us being in that private moment, it was very refreshing to, just to hear it.
Yeah.
So.
Shit, I want you to shout it to the rooftops.
I mean, Anna, she will. Anna, she's not the one of the two. She would definitely do that. She's awesome.
No, I'm just saying, like, because I feel like because a lot of them get so defensive about that, like privilege. I don't have any
Yeah.
privilege. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. I had to work my way up. Like, no,
Right.
it's all types
I
of,
knew
it's all types of privilege. Like the
Yeah.
fact that you can go into any town and not have to worry about anybody wanting to lynch you. That's a privilege.
Mhm.
Well, I would
know?
say one thing. This is probably bad, but like my ex-husband and I would go into the store together, and I would be buying groceries, and I would get followed around. Me and him, I would go in separately. Like me and him would go in separately. I would be sitting here buying groceries, and he'd go off and do his own thing. And when we would come out, one of us stole, and it wasn't me.
Oh yeah, I'm like, well, I
Oh,
wonder
Lord.
which one it was.
Yep. They would follow what we would do. We did it on purpose. They would follow me around in there,
Yeah.
and I would legit be buying groceries. I would check out. I, always had my receipt with me because I was actually legit doing the 1, 2, and 3.
Mhm.
And he'd be in the back hitting licks, stealing phone batteries and all this shit. And because we
Bro, I ain't heard that. I ain't heard that term in a
because
while.
we knew that if me and him walked in separately, like we didn't know each other, it was 11 p.m. It was, back in, I'm sorry, kids, you'll never experience this, but Walmart once upon a time was 24 hours
Yes.
a day, and they realized during COVID they lose money, so you know what I'm saying? But it was like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and guess what they were following around? My black ass.
Yep.
Yep, and he
Oh.
stole over $100 worth of stuff.
Good. Amen.
Good.
Yeah.
Walmart, don't come after.
Yep. Oh, hey,
Well, we won't be getting a
I
sponsor
didn't
from Walmart.
It's a win-win.
Come on, man. I didn't steal Walmart. Don't do that. Don't do
They
that.
stereotype right off rip.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what you get.
Yep. Yep.
Damn.
No, but
All right,
I
then.
always got that, like, what was it? I was always black up. Like,
Mm.
back up.
Black up?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I
Because,
haven't
like,
heard that one
because
before.
my friends were just like,
Not black up.
because like if they were like, oh, you
Oh,
said
shit.
something racist, or oh, you did this. No, man, I'm friends with Cora. Like, she got it like that, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, like, come on, man, I ain't trying to.
Like, I have a friend that's black. Of course,
Like,
I'm not
I'm
racist.
not racist.
Oh, I hate when they say that. I have
Yeah.
a black friend. I'm not
Yeah.
racist. I hate when they say
Yeah,
that shit.
oh
That's
my
the most
gosh.
ignorant. Bro, I just want to smack the fuck out of them when they say that. I just want to smack
that
the
shit
taste out of their
weird.
mouth.
They people weird.
Like, I hate that shit.
For real, no.
Damn, well, my glass is empty. I mean, I
You
think
talk
that's.
about me in
I
the
think that's
beginning.
it.
We're done because your
I
glasses
think we
empty.
done. This my glasses.
Damn.
Ew.
I mean, did anybody who have any other
Yeah.
experiences
You
y'all
wanna
want to
say
share,
anything?
like a specific thing that stands out, a racist experience, or
I will say this. I just went to North Carolina like a month ago, and that state is literally everything that you hear on social media. That state is everything that you've heard. I've never seen so many Confederate flags.
oh
And that's
yeah,
state before.
I mean,
that's the
I
South.
I'm from
never-
The, I'm from the
That's the
South. That doesn't-
Yeah.
It honestly
That's the
doesn't
South.
bother me. Because
Yeah,
because
black
I'm from the
folks. If y'all try to go to North Carolina, be
Shit, North
fucking
Carolina, South
careful.
Carolina,
I ain't
Tennessee.
going there.
South. The 13
be
original
fucking careful.
colonies.
North Carolina.
Shit, all
I'm
of
putting
them.
you on blast.
Hey, I
Even
get along with
Indiana.
all of
Yeah.
Even Indiana, they rode around with
I
their
get along with all
Confederate
the white
flags and
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It doesn't for me.
Some
I just one thing about me is I don't really. It doesn't like. It's not a dagger to my heart because I'm from the South. So I've seen
Yeah.
it like on all like not just white people, like black people, Asian. Like I've seen everybody in the South.
Yeah.
Period. So it doesn't really bother me. But like I understand the culture shock for you. Yeah. That's crazy.
But yeah, no, I love white people now. I love white people.
I've never
Love
not.
white
I've
people.
never not. My kids are half white, and I don't want them to hate.
No, I'm about
Yeah.
tired of them. I'm about tired of them.
I don't want my kids
Hey,
to hate.
I'm dating me a
half-
black girl next.
I don't want my kids to hate half of who they are.
I grew up hating white people because my mom didn't like white people.
My dad didn't like.
My
white
mom
people.
hated white people. So
Same.
like my first half of my life, I grew up hating white people with her.
My dad said when I first got with my now ex-husband, the girl's dad,
Yeah.
he was just like, damn, or if you were gonna get, he was like, so you're with this guy, he's a felon, he ain't got a job, you might as well just did it. He said the N-word. I was like,
But that sound like some self-hate ass shit.
I was
Like,
like, yeah,
oh, you gonna name
Bro.
all the
He did.
negatives
Damn,
and say
that's
you might as
crazy.
well date a nigga
yeah.
like.
And then he was like, I wish. Another thing he said separately from it said it's like another time. He was like, if you were gonna date somebody
Help
who
us,
wasn't,
Lord.
if you were gonna be with somebody who wasn't black, I
Yeah.
wish it would have been with somebody with culture, like Asian or Spanish or Alaska, Indonesian, this that. And I was just like, okay, Dad. And I was like, well, he Irish. We got St. Patrick's Day. He's like, fuck you.
Mhm.
He thought I was trying to be
Oh my
funny. I was
God.
like, yeah, everyone has a little, everyone has a background. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't hate anybody. I hate it's just too
Strong.
It's just too
like a
heavy
strong
of a
word.
burden. Yeah, it's too heavy of a burden to carry. I don't hate anybody.
Well, I've never hated white people.
Oh
but
no,
I
wait,
love
yo,
my
no,
black
I do
people.
hate a few people. I take that back.
Mhm.
Not just gonna.
I love my
Shit.
black women and black men. So, but no, I love woke white people. Like I love white people that's like down with the culture and
What's
like.
that one girl? She's older and she always like you see her online. She has the short hair and glasses. Oh man, do you know what I'm talking about? She has like short hair and like glasses and shit. Like she always talks about like super like how we were all like came from Africa and all. Oh man,
Is she white?
yeah.
Ryan's a racist person.
I think it's Rita or something. I don't know, but she's damn.
Was she old?
Yeah, she's still alive.
Oh, I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about. And they show her like in like sociology.
Yeah,
classes and
yeah,
stuff.
her. Yeah, she's really good. They need to do a class on her. They need to study her before she goes.
I forgot her name.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah, like I said, I like woke white people. Like as long as you know, like
I love my
you-
white people.
I like the allies. Yeah.
Well, like the white people that I grew up with up in the cities, like they were definitely cultured, and I love that shit. And then I moved to Mankato,
That's like my boyfriend.
and these motherfuckers, like they've never had that talk from their parents about like what like how to adjust to other being around a bunch of people who are not the same race as you. They didn't get that talk, so
Yeah.
like
No, my boyfriend's like that too. He's from here in the cities, and he's like that too. Like he never really got the talk because like all white family, like all that stuff. But he's super like in the culture. What'd you call him? Like a light skin or something?
I said at this point, just a light skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, what the fuck?
He knows more rap
Dang,
music and
for
songs
real.
than I do. I'm like, but no, he's super. It's not even just music. Like he's super, super cultured. So no, I get it.
Why he cut his dreads off?
Man, shut up. We'll talk about it later. Well, I need another drink. So are we going to cheers? Because my drink is empty.
You were supposed to
Yeah.
cheers.
We
and
gonna
you didn't
cheers to
even
your
say it.
empty
Look
cup.
what you got
Yeah.
here.
And
Cheers.
right.
Cheers to the podcast.
Cheers.